Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on Archive DStyle here, joined by Beeb. Throw a jab at that like button if you're listening on Archive. Throw a hook at the bell. At that bell button to be notified when DStyle comes on live. Throw the 1-2 at that share button and share my videos on social media. If you don't like it, I could take it to the chin. You could throw a cross at that unlike button. I don't mind. And I'm here joined by Joe Habib, of course. What's up, babe?
What's going on?
So here we are, second edition of our little boxing hour here. First of all, go ahead and tell people, in case they don't know, where they could find you.
Find me on my YouTube channel at Ringside Reporter Live. And we go live every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Me, Eric Loader, and Ringside Robert do a weekly boxing podcast every week on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you check us out.
Make sure you guys check it out. The link to the channel is on the description box already here. So you guys go ahead and click on that, subscribe, hit that notification button. That way you're notified when they do go live. You could even call in and talk some boxing. Isn't that right?
Correct.
There we go. All right. So a couple of things here. First of all, the obvious. I mean, the very long fight that we saw last night. Wilder versus Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale. Quite a fight while it lasted. And there was a little bit of drama there right before it ended. And then, of course, Wilder again proving he does have that one quitter hitter. The fight ends. I think what I just said probably lasted longer than the actual fight itself. So what did you think about the fight, Beeb? I know you did like a play-by-play yesterday. How was that? And what did you think about the fight?
Well, a lot of people were telling me beforehand that this fight was going to be interesting while it lasted. It's going to go a few rounds. It may go 6 or 7 rounds because they thought that Breazeale had some skills. But one thing that I noticed about Breazeale is that jab. When he shoots that jab out there, he just brings it back so slow.
Right.
It's such a lazy jab. And he keeps his hands so low because he's so used to being taller than everyone else. So he's able to get away with keeping his hands low because the shorter guys have to still reach up to him. And he's able to, block them because they're reaching up. But when he fights guys his own size, same height, like Joshua, and as we saw Wilder, it's a different ball game. And I thought that Wilder would get him out of there within 2 rounds. And I just didn't expect much of the fight. And we didn't get much of the fight. So kind of was the way I expected. If you go back and listen to our play-by-play, I said right before the fight even started, I said, don't blink. I said, this is going to end quick. I said, this ain't going past 2 rounds. And Eric was like, nah, this is going to go about 6 or 7 rounds. Breazeale's going to give him some problems in the beginning. And I said, there's no way. There's just no way.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I would use the word problem, but I felt like Breazeale was going to put up a fight for at least 3 or 4 rounds. I felt like, he had enough in him to kind of give Wilder some problems, but it just wasn't to be. Like, it wasn't. If there's one thing that we should know by now is that, that punch is like a light switch. You know what I mean? It turns the fighter off, and there's just no other way around it. And what is scary is, we all hear it, right? I'm sure you've heard of Beeb, and everybody talks about the quote-unquote windmill punches of Wilder, and, he's just not coordinated or whatever you want to call it. But the fact is, yes, it's the right hand, but this was a nicely placed down the pipe right hand. And when that right hand hits you, whether it's overhand, whether it's a straight, whether he loops it or throws it down the pipe, it is a deadly right hand. It's I think it's the deadliest punch in boxing right now, in all combat sports. It's a deadly weapon.
I agree.
And the scary part is the fact that it's not like Breazeale had his hands down. You know what I mean? Like this was a nicely placed punch. And the way Breazeale fell, I think his soul was taken from him. I don't know. I have a poll up in my channel. Okay, if you guys want to go to my DStyle channel, okay, go to the community tab, and I have a poll up. Okay, and I say, where did Breazeale's soul go to when that punch landed? and have to hell in JR's voice, Asgard, Wonderland, or Oz. I don't know where he went, but he went to one of those places. This dude, for a second or two, might have died, Beeb. I don't know, but it looked like he was out for a while.
I think he went to the quantum realm.
No spoilers, but I hear you. I mean, he did. I should have had Quantum Realm as an option, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's okay.
Um, but and I did it on purpose. I don't want somebody to spoil the movie from here. Some I haven't watched it yet, unfortunately.
Oh,
Endgame.
you still didn't see it?
I still haven't watched Endgame.
Oh
What are
my
we gonna do?
God.
I got to get to it. I got to get to it. By the way, those tuning live right now, take a moment, thumbs up the video. Remember, Beeb and I will try to, come on here at least once a week or every other week to do this collaboration. Hopefully, we could grow from there, right? So you guys hit that notification button. That way, you're notified whenever we come on live. Baby, you did a play-by-play yesterday. How was that?
It's fun. I'm going to start doing a lot of those. That was a good suggestion and a good idea you gave me because I actually enjoyed doing it, and I liked
Right.
interacting with the people in the chat. And it's kind of cool because you're seeing one thing and you want to see how many people are seeing what you see, and then if people disagree with you or if they think the other guy won the round when you think one guy won the round and they think the other guy won the round, it's kind of interesting and fun going back and forth and being able to debate with people on what you
Right.
saw and what they saw. So it's fun. It's interesting.
Definitely, it was definitely fun, and people can definitely, catch Joe Habib on Ringside Reporter. The link is in the description box. Kevin is in the house in the chat saying, "What's up?" AJ10 moderator, he's got a wrench, folks, so don't get out of hand. Okay, and he says, "One quitter hitter." Boom, it's over. I thought this fight will be over under 4. A guy who doesn't move his head or stays in the punching range will get hurt by Wilder. Okay. Neutral Natural says what to do. AJ10 follows up with he went to the Twilight Zone where boxing fights are free and the best fight the best. That's how hard that's where Breazeale went.
Okay.
That's quite a Twilight Zone.
Very
But
interesting.
very interesting. I mean, Wilder should knock me out. That's what it'll take me. But this was it was fun while it lasted. I wanted it to go a couple more rounds, but why wouldn't I? I know you expected early, but you expected like a 1 or 2 first 2 rounds. You expected that?
I didn't think it was going to go past the second round.
Wow. All right. Props to you. You called it. You know what the over under was, by the way?
I don't. I didn't even think to look. I should have.
All right.
I'm guessing it was probably 6.
By 6. Yeah, that's easy money.
6 or 7.
Wow. Okay. Not bad. All right. Where do you think Wilder goes from here? I mean, I know there's a lot of drama in the heavyweight division right now. I'm not too excited about an Ortiz fight. I don't know what you think, but do you think that's where they're going?
That's probably going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not.
And did you see how Ortiz looked? He was in the ring last night. He looked so out of shape. It was horrible.
He looked out of it. Yeah.
Looked bad.
Like, what's going on here? It reminded me of like when I saw Broner before he was going to fight Pacquiao. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. And I think we'll see a sharper Wilder in the rematch, and we'll probably see a guy who's not as sharp as he was the first fight in Luis Ortiz, and I think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, Joe Lopez, 40 ounce agrees. He says he will fight Ortiz next. And I think that's what the consensus is, but I think the consensus is nobody wants to see it. So hopefully they don't go that way. We don't know. I have to ask, did this fight in any way, shape, or form, even though you expected it, but after you actually see it, it's like you get that confirmation, right? Did your opinion on Wilder Joshua change in any way, shape, or form if they were to fight?
Well, I favor Joshua, but as I said before, when we talked about this many times in the past, the more time that goes on, the more I start to give Wilder more of a chance. I used to think this was like a 60-40 fight. Now I think it's like a 55-45 fight or like a 51-48 fight right now, to be honest with you, because Anthony Joshua does get hit with right hands. And in the fight against Povetkin, before he stopped Povetkin, I had him down on the scorecards. So no disrespect to Anthony Joshua, but he doesn't move his head like Fury.
True.
He's not as defensively sound as Fury, and I just think it's a different style. But again, Wilder's got to deal with a guy that can punch with both hands and can put punches together, and who's aggressive. But because Anthony Joshua sometimes, again, he's another guy that leaves that jab out there a little bit too long, as we saw with Vladimir Klitschko, kind of right over the top with the right hand on a couple of occasions in that fight, and one of those right hands almost put Joshua out. So I don't think Deontay Wilder will have problems getting to Joshua with the right hand. The question is, who gets there first, and who's able to withstand what the other guy is throwing? Because definitely Wilder's the harder puncher, but Anthony Joshua can punch with both hands and put shots together. So he doesn't have to land one punch because he has the ability to land two or three because of how fluid he is. Because of how fluid he is with his combinations. So
Well,
I favor Joshua in that fight, but again, I'm just seeing Wilder become more proficient with that right hand. As you said, he's able to throw it in a variety of different ways. He can loop it over the top. He can shorten it. And the way he threw it in that Spilka fight, he had very little room, and he was able to really shorten it up and kind of loop it over the top and land that on Spilka.
yeah.
And we've seen him in the Ortiz fight land a beautiful uppercut with it too, which ultimately was the beginning of the end for Ortiz. So, at the end of the day, to me it's a very tough fight. And if Wilder was an underdog, I would bet him because it's to me.
Well, how much of an underdog? Like what? Like 2-1 or?
If he was like a 2-1 or a 3-1, I would bet Wilder.
Oh yeah.
I would, because I think Wilder definitely could knock Joshua out, and Joshua could definitely. I can't say that Joshua could definitely knock Wilder out because Ortiz really had him hurt.
Right. I mean, look,
and he came back. I don't think anyone is even close to Deontay Wilder's power.
I just want to kind of paint a picture for people as far on Wilder's power, right? So we all know this is a heavyweight division, right? And everyone knows that these are big men, and anyone has the power to knock anybody out. But Wilder's like above even that. I mean, his power stands out in the heavyweight division, which is a hell of a thing to do. To stand out as a heavyweight knockout artist at heavyweight is something else. Look, I saw Joshua hit the canvas and almost, and I got to be honest, Beeb, if Klitschko was 3 or 4 years younger, he might get Joshua out of there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And yes, Klitschko did have a really good right hand. I was a fan of his right cross, but it wasn't a one quitter hitter. Like, he beat guys down with it into submission almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and if anything, I honestly believe that Klitschko's hook was more deadly when it landed clean than the right hand. So he was more of a left hook kind of guy, not to minimize his right hand, but Wilder's right hand is definitely more lethal by far than Klitschko's.
I would say so.
I'm not minimizing. I was a fan of Klitschko. I'm not minimizing his right hand. He was a big man, of course. When he landed it, I'm sure it hurt people. Okay. And he did stop some individuals with it. But at the end of the day, Wilder is just at a whole nother level with that right hand in terms of power, right? And I'm telling you, babe, Joshua just has less room for error than Wilder does in their fight. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
And like, I'm up, like, if you tell me who's, like, overall, who's a better boxer, that this may not make a lot of Wilder fans happy, but I do believe that AJ is a better boxer overall.
Of course.
Right? So I just got to be honest in that department. I mean, his uppercut is lethal. His hooks are great. His right hand's pretty good too. But he does beat guys down, and he has a really good knockout percentage himself. And he has stopped guys sooner than Wilder did, like Molina, for example. So let's not forget that either. All right. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have that one quitter hitter. When I think of AJ, I don't think of a punch that just could just end things at any moment. So I think that is the wild card. The fact that I could easily visualize a fight where Joshua's outboxing Wilder and then bam, just like that, with a snap of a finger, like Thanos, like boom, Infinity War, it's over. Like, the dude is out. Right? So that's what he's got, man. He's got that gauntlet. Okay, he's got a gauntlet in his right hand, Beeb. He could end it with a snap of a finger, just boom, and it's over. And that is a real thing. And I honestly can't recall many fighters that you could really say that about. There's like I couldn't say that about Triple G, or I couldn't really say that about any other. I can't think of any off the top of my head that I could say that dude's got a gauntlet in that right hand. He could end it at any moment, even when he's getting beat. And I gotta say, Joshua does not move his head. He doesn't have really good head movement, and he is open to get hit with a right hand. It's. I gotta be honest. I flipped Beat. Like yeah. I used to have AJ winning this fight.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that I would slightly favor Wilder because of the gauntlet in that right hand.
I know.
Like it's you have to take that. It's something serious to take, and I'll tell you what, man. Fury is far better defensively than AJ, and he got caught himself.
Yeah.
And he's taller than AJ. He's got longer arms, I believe. I'm not mistaken, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So it just. That's all I'm going to say. Obviously AJ brings a little more power than Fury did, but I just think maybe I'm wrong, but I just think AJ has to have like the perfect fight to beat Wilder, and I don't think he can pull it off.
Yeah, yeah. I'm starting to edge closer and closer towards Wilder too.
Yeah,
I really am, because AJ, since that Klitschko fight, I don't think AJ's looked better. I don't think he has. I mean, I didn't think he looked great in the Parker fight. I didn't think he looked great in the Takam fight. And I didn't think he looked great against Povetkin. I had him down like by 2 points at the time of the stoppage. I thought Povetkin was actually getting to him and hurting him.
Yeah.
And I think he bloodied his nose too.
I mean, it's Povetkin was landing on him, man. I mean, it's the truth,
Yeah.
I saw Takam was landing the right hands on him too.
Yeah. Yeah. Parker landed a good right hand against him, so
it's gonna happen. Like I can, if Wilder didn't have that one quitter hitter, all right, then like if Wilder just had average power, I would pick AJ all day, right? If Wilder was just a knockout artist, but not that scary of a knockout artist, I would pick him. Yeah. But and I usually like to, I don't really. It's not in my. If you go through all my archives, I don't pick guys because one guy hits harder than the other. But in this case, and like AJ 10 just said in the chat, his power doesn't fade. He can hurt you in the 12th round. And it's almost like he becomes more dangerous the more you outbox him. He just becomes more dangerous, and I just think either AJ's going to have to hurt him good and take him out himself, or have a perfect match. And I don't know if AJ can do that. I just don't think he can do it. He was outboxing Vladimir Klitschko, and then what happened? We all saw what happened.
Yeah.
He got dropped and he got up, and you got to give him credit for that. And he overcame all the odds. I mean, that was a hell of a fight, but I don't think he can do it against Wilder. Now, I do want to segue to this, Beeb. Sure. All right. By the way, there was some other boxing fights yesterday. We won't get to talk about it here, but you guys could, I'm sure, hear Beeb give his thoughts, okay, later on the Ringside Reporter. Okay, so you guys could tune into that. The description does have a link to his channel, so you guys can check the show later on tonight. You could even call in if you want. I want to segue to this. So, Wilder said some before the fight. We all know what he said, that he wants a body on his record. He wants to kill this man. Okay, and I'm not even paraphrasing. I mean, that's basically what he said. I personally didn't like it, but I made a video about it, and people could check that out if they want, if you go to my channel. But I also, I accepted it. And there might be a disagreement here because I was hearing your show yesterday, and I think you and Eric kind of came to the conclusion that he was just selling the fight.
Yeah.
And I don't know about that. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about fighters that say things that maybe they don't mean, but they're trying to sell the fight. There's a little bit of sports entertainment aspect to it. Do you think that's what it was with Wilder?
Well, the thing about it is this. At first, I didn't like it and I was critical of it, but then I started thinking about it and I started listening to people talk about it, and people made some sense when they were telling me, like they were coming up with some reasonable explanations. And maybe I was overreacting in the beginning because I honestly don't think that Wilder wants to kill anybody. I really don't. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. Do I think part of it was to hype up the fight? Yeah, but part of it was also to get him in fight mode. That was just how. That's just the type of I don't know, method that he uses to psych himself up and get himself mentally ready before a fight. And if that works for him, then that's good for him. Like I'm not a religious person, but if someone believes in the Bible, I'm not going to tell them that, not to believe in the Bible if it makes them feel good about themselves and it
Right.
and it makes them a better person. So whatever works for you, as long as you're not hurting somebody or hurting yourself, then have at it. As long as you're not breaking the law or you're not doing something that's too far over the top where you can get yourself in trouble legally, then go ahead and do it. Did it sound great the way he said it and just the way he was describing it? No. But once again, you have to take it with a grain of salt because I honestly don't believe that he meant it. At first, I was like, why did he say it? It sounds horrible, blah, blah, blah. But when I really thought about it, like I listened to you talk to me about it, listen to Eric talk to me about it. And if someone can make, you know, a rational counterpoint to whatever I'm saying or my argument, and it makes sense, then I have no problem switching my stance on a topic. So I'm going to actually switch my stance on this and say, you know what? I don't think he was really serious about it. I just think he was in fight mode. He was trying to get himself mentally prepared for the fight, and I think he was also trying. I do think part of it was he was trying to hype up the fight also.
I mean, it could be, but look, there's a quote in the Bible that says that there's a time for love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. Okay, now I'm not a religious person either, but I love that. I love that verse in the Bible, right?
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying that is I got to be honest. I think he meant it. All right, and it's not a. I know people are going to say he's trying to hype up the
Right.
fight, and I honestly believe that there's fighters out there that are not doing the sports entertainment thing. Like they're not just hyping shit up.
Yeah.
Like they mean what they say. And I have to be honest, I think he meant what he said. Does it mean he felt that way afterwards? No, right? I think after the fight, after all that energy's out of his system, and he gets a knockout, and that rush of energy escapes him, then I just think there's a different perspective there. But I just think that going into that ring, I think it's war. I think he means it. It's. I think there are fighters out there, Beeb, that the way they mentally prepare themselves, it's war. Like they're going to go to war with somebody else, someone who wants to physically harm them. That, and they mean what they say. I think the mind of maybe not all fighters, but I think many fighters is not. It's not a pretty place. Okay, when they're mentally preparing themselves to go to war with another individual, where they're going to assault each other in the ring. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. Well, I think it's basically a mindset. To be perfectly honest with you, that's how
Yeah,
I see it. I think it's a mindset.
like to when B Hop grabbed the Puerto Rican flag and threw it in the floor, right? He was just in a war mindset that he probably regretted afterwards. Who knows, right? But I think he meant it. I think even though he apologized for it after he beat Trinidad, I think he meant what he did when he did it. Like I don't think he was trying to hype up the fight.
Yeah, but is there a difference between being in the heat of the moment
Right.
and is there as opposed to really meaning and really having that hate inside your heart? So you have to have hate in your heart to want to kill somebody. I don't think he has it. I
I
think,
disagree with that. I don't think you need hate in your heart.
or you have to feel that you're being threatened. Fits like someone's trying to kill you or hurt your loved ones.
I think here's what I think. All right.
But you have to have something inside you. People, you just can't wake up one day and say I want to kill somebody. You have to have that
Well,
something
here's
inside
the
you,
thing.
something inside you to want to do that.
He's not talking about, I'm gonna go down the street and shoot somebody with a Glock, or that's not what he's saying.
Okay.
He's not saying he's gonna do premeditated murder, right? What he's, I mean, basically, I honestly, when this man throws a punch, right? Like, even if we agree it's a small percentage, maybe it's 0.001% chance, but there is a chance he could kill a man, right? Like, it's not like an impossible thing, right? So when he throws, okay, those right hands, for example, I think he throws them with the meanest possible intentions. I honestly believe that. Okay, the look this guy has when he throws those right hands is not a pretty look. It's not a pretty place. So, and I do think there is a such thing as a killer instinct, a kill or be killed mentality for some of these fighters when they go to that ring. That doesn't mean that they're just hoping that the guy dies. No, but it does mean that they're willing to kill someone if that's what it takes. And that's not like a nice thing to say, right? But I do believe that is a mentality a lot of fighters have. I honestly believe that.
Okay.
No,
Fair.
but
It's a fair point.
it's not a pretty place to be in. You know what I mean? Look, a lot of these fighters have PR people and that tell them what to say and kind of control these interviews, and so a lot of this stuff doesn't come out, man. But a lot of these fighters, like Johnny Tapia, you remember Johnny Tapia?
Yes.
Johnny Tapia used to say, okay, before the bell rang, that he looked across the corner, and that was not whoever his opponent was that signed to fight him. That was the man that raped and killed his mother, and that's who he was fighting in his head, right? So this is a sport where everybody's wired differently, and what do you think Tapia was trying to do to a man when he was punching him, right? When that's what he was
Yeah,
visualizing,
but that's all about that once again, all about getting ready for the fight.
right? Now,
But
after the bell rang, I'm sure Johnny Tapia snapped out of it, and okay,
yeah,
this is just another dude. And,
yeah.
they hugged it out or whatever. But yeah, I think yes, the mentality that a fighter goes when they go into war and when the war is over is just two different mentalities. But it's an interesting thing to think about. All right, and Haplotype is in the house. He says, "What's up, dude?" He wanted to intimidate Breazeale, and who had sued him. He wanted to, yeah, it's fair. Maybe he just wanted to intimidate him. So there you go. Um, but that's the thing, Beeb. I just in general though, I just feel like whenever fighters say something before a fight, it's kind of like everyone just says now, just by default, oh, he was just saying that to hype up the fight, you know. And a lot of fighters do. There's a quote unquote sports entertainment aspect to it, right? Since Gorgeous George did his thing and Ali, took a page out of that script and everything, okay? Fighters have been doing that because it helps quote unquote sell fights. But, there is fighters, whatever percentage it is, that really do mean what they say. And I do believe Wilder's one of those guys. I don't think he's playing games. I think he means what he says. But I respect people who think it's just an act. That's fine. We'll agree to disagree.
I'm not necessarily going to say it's an act. I just think it's a mind state and mindset
Gotcha.
going into the fight. You know,
That
I
makes
don't,
sense. Yeah.
I don't think it's a literal type thing with him. It's just basically having that mentality that it's kill or be killed. I got to do whatever it takes to win the fight.
Gotcha.
So I guess your argument is him saying, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win the fight, and if someone has to die for me to win the fight, then I'm cool with
Like,
that.
let me ask you this: when Margarito says, "I'm willing to die in the ring," do you believe him?
It's so funny you say that because when every other fighter has said that,
Yeah.
I didn't really believe it. But this is one guy that I may actually believe because I seen this guy fight Pacquiao with his eye hanging off
Right.
and not quit and not want to stop. Like I've seen this guy be damaged more than I've ever seen anyone damaged before, and like continue to want to fight. After that Pacquiao fight, he had to get an artificial lens put on his eye. That's how bad the damage was. So he was ready. He would. Most people like Cal Brook hurt his eye in the Errol Spence fight, and he stopped. But Antonio Margarito had an injury similar to that, and I think he broke his orbital bone in that fight too. Yeah, he had a lot of damage to that eye that Pacquiao kept
That's
smashing,
the thing.
and he just continued. So, do I think that he would die in there? I can't say that with 100% certainty, but I would lean towards maybe yes.
Right. I agree. I believe him when he says it. In fact, I think it. I don't think. Obviously, I don't think he had any regard for the health of his opponents. Now he did it in an illegal way, right? I believe he did it in a way. I think he did use plaster of Paris in many of his fights. You know, it's someone gets caught cheating. It's not their first rodeo,
Yeah,
right? But when Wilder, this is how I feel like about Wilder. I think he meant what he said,
yeah,
and it's not a pretty thing. I don't like it, but I accept it, and that's just his mentality. It is a mentality going in to that ring. He's just in that mode. Like I said, like that verse of the Bible. There's a time for war and there's a time for peace. And when it's time for war, that's one scary dude. I would not want to run into Deontay Wilder in a back alley, right? When he's in that mode. I just wanted to give my thoughts. It's an interesting conversation for sure.
absolutely.
I want to end it with this. Kind of, I saw some comments on one of your podcasts, and it's got me thinking. Rope a Dope Radio. What was your favorite Rope a Dope Radio show or memory that you remember?
I think you can guess the answer to that. See if you can guess the answer to that.
Well, there was a lot of great moments. But trying to think. Was it the well, give me one clue. Was it a post-fight show or was it just a regular show?
It was a regular show.
Okay, so this was the before the Claudio Pacquiao fight.
Yes.
Okay, I remember that show.
He's not dead. He's not really dead.
Yeah.
I love that show. It took me forever to find it, that one episode, but I found it. I actually re-uploaded that whole dialogue. That was the funniest thing ever.
You guys can actually catch that video on Ringside Report if you scroll down.
Listening to you and JR laughing in the background even made it more funny.
Yeah, you guys can catch that video on Ringside Report. The link is in the description box. You can subscribe, hit that notification button so you're notified anytime they go live. They'll go live shortly after the show, actually. So you guys can check that out. But yeah, just to kind of let people know what happened here. So we're talking Pacquiao versus Claudio, which, by the way, nobody like demanded or wanted to see that fight. I mean, Arum was promoting that thing like everybody wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And you were not like no one was going to convince Joe Habib, okay, that this was going to be a competitive fight or that Claudio stood a shot. And there was no convincing you. And I mean, you ended up being right. Pacquiao won, right? But it was still funny leading into the fight. And Joe Habib said, and I quote, Claudio had a dead man in front of him, and he still wouldn't throw punches, right? Something like that is kind of what he said.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Cotto's eye was really bad, and he was retreating.
Yeah.
Okay. And he looked like he was really out. He looked like he was really out of it. And Claudio laid back. So I'm sitting there saying to myself, all of a sudden, you guys expect Claudio to become an aggressive fighter against Pacquiao, but he had Cotto basically a dead man in front of him because his mouth was open, his eye was cut badly, and he couldn't even see out of the eye, and he was severely compromised, and yet Claudia still didn't attack the guy. So if he has a guy in that condition and is still reluctant to attack, then how's he going to be aggressive against a guy who's 100%? And a guy that has Pacquiao's speed, power, and skills.
Right.
That was my argument.
Yeah, but he wasn't dead, though.
No, he wasn't literally dead.
The best quote was, if I say hit him so hard, his head's in the front row or something like that.
Yeah. Does that mean his head is literally in the front row? Yeah.
Yeah.
I said when the guy's getting lit up in there, does that mean he's on fire? Like Chris is just crazy. He's crazy.
I know some people want a reunion show. I mean, that'd be something, but
yeah.
My favorite show. It was actually the post-fight shows are great, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, remember, nobody was doing that.
No.
There was no show about boxing that you could call in and talk about the fight. It just wasn't a thing.
No.
So they were really fun, but I'll never forget it. Like I'll never forget this. You remember the lead up to the Mosley Mayweather fight?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you liked this.
You and I, and there was JR, of course. I believe even Ashley. I'm sorry, and even Mr. Ropido. What's his name again? Chris. I mean, all of us were kind of giving an argument, but especially me and you. I mean, we were really challenging, Mosley fans to break down how Mosley's going to beat Mayweather, right? I mean, I wanted to hear a breakdown, a technical breakdown, because we all knew that more than likely Floyd was going to win.
Yeah.
And I heard, I'll never forget it. They'll call in, oh, Mosley's a good person. Mosley's a better person. Mosley is an alpha male and Floyd's not. Like they would just give all these things that just it wasn't. They weren't explaining why he's going to beat him. But I'll never. The first line you said on that show, I'll never forget it. The show starts and Joe Beeb doesn't say welcome to the post-fight show, or he doesn't say any of that. He just says, well, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so.
and then I said this. I go, when you go for a job interview, there's not one question on that application that says and asks you, are you a nice guy? That was the funniest thing. That fucking people get so angry.
Yeah, people were just in shock now. I mean, there was that, Mosley did have that for a moment. I was like, oh shit, is it going to happen right in the second round?
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And even like, after that, it was just a wrap, man. And it was interesting. It was those are some fun times, those post-fight shows. But things have changed. We are where we are now. Now we're doing, play-by-plays live on YouTube, and it's just different times. But this was fun, man. We do got to end this. You got to show in a little bit. Tell people again, anybody just coming in, where they can find you.
Come right to Ringside Reporter Live. We're going to be going live in about 20 minutes. So come join us on our recap of the weekend of fights that we had this weekend.
Yeah. Description box. Hit that link. Subscribe. Hit the notification button. And hit the notification button on my video too. I don't know if you've noticed this, Beeb, but it's like I have all these subscribers, and many of them tell me that they're not getting my videos on their subscription feed.
Yeah, that bell doesn't always work, right?
Yeah, well, you guys got to hit the bell. Sometimes it doesn't work, but of course that is an issue as well. But you got to hit the bell. You got to hit the bell. All right, there's a bell. Hit it that we can get notifications. I believe they even send you email notifications now, which is a great feature. So you guys make sure you hit that.
All right.
And if you listen to archive, remember, hit that link. You can still catch all the shows. Any final thoughts, Beeb?
No, I got to run.
Yeah.
Get ready.
All right, man. Thanks, everybody that tuned in. This is DStyle. And for Joe Habib, we're signing out. All right. Remember, keep it boxing. We're out.
All right. Take care, everyone.